Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's Charles. Dobro jutro in Serbian, and today is Monday morning, and it's early. It's like 9:30, and I've got some things to do, so I'm all dressed nice and beautifully here today. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about today is manners in Serbia, in the Serbian language, kind of the difference between regular speech and formal. It's a language that has, see my little book I got, 300 diners. This is going to make me a genius, a Serbian literary genius. I will be after I read this little 68-page book. After 3 years, I finally bought one, huh? But anyway, you know, in Spanish, when I was in Mexico, there's a formal and a respectful words that you use, and it's the same in Serbia. For instance, in Spanish, if I would say to my friend, ¿Cómo estás? And that's just, how are you? And if it would be someone of importance, I would say, ¿Cómo están? If my friend says to me, ¿Cómo estás, Charles? I'd say, bien, gracias. ¿Tú? Tú for you. But if it's somebody important that says, ¿Cómo estás to me? I would say, usted, because they have different words for that. Same in Serbian. So anyway, a good way when you go to a country is to attempt to speak a little bit of the language, or at least make an effort to say a few words, and it really makes a huge difference. You know, here in Serbia, a lot of the older people over 40 do not speak English. But it's, you know, if you go up to them in a traffic, little shop or something, and you say, do you speak English? In the English language, just like I did, you know, a lot of times I think a lot of them are probably a little bit embarrassed that they don't. And so it kind of rubs you the wrong way. You know, it's just normal human reaction. But I've noticed here, like in English, we have sir and ma'am, which is very common where I'm from. I was always raised to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Ma'am is short for madam, which nobody says madam unless you're from the United Kingdom or something. I think they say it more so than we do because it's proper and formal and all that jazz. But anyway, here in Serbia, you can say those words also, and it makes a difference. I don't hear them used often, but I use them all the time. And if you want to say, like, sir would be like gospodin, but that is if you're talking about someone and he doesn't hear you, for example. I would say, yeah, gospodin Cather. But if I'm talking to him, I would say, gospodine Cather, how are you, blah, blah, blah. So gospodin, gospodine. A woman, ma'am, would be the similarity to gospođa. And you would say, gospođa Cather, or hey, zdravo gospođo. So it goes, gospodin, gospodine, gospođa, gospođo. So that's a good way to say it. Zdravo gospođo, jako malo pričam srpski, izvinite, jako malo, blah, 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 something like that. You know, you can speak, and it makes it sound like you're respecting them, and it makes a difference, you know. Anyway, the next one you would have, another way to say respectfully here in Serbia. For instance, if my friend, I accidentally bump my friend, I would say, izvini, brate, which would be, excuse me, brother. But if it was somebody of importance or somebody a little bit older or somebody I don't know, I would say, izvinite. So you say, izvinite for someone that's a formal or you know, respectful position, and izvini to your friend. Or you could say, if someone makes you angry or is being a smartass to you, you could say, izvini, bre. You know, I'd be like, excuse the hell out of me, you know, something like that. Next one we've got, how are you? Which I just told you in Spanish, ¿Cómo estás? Then you have respectful, ¿Cómo están? In Serbian, you would say to your friend, kako si, brate? Which would be, how are you, brother? If it's somebody important, you would say, kako ste? And I know I used to say that incorrectly because it's S-T-E, and I thought it had the sh on it, but it doesn't. So it's kako ste. I would say, kako ste? And that's respectful. If someone says to you, maybe, somebody respectful, they would say, kako si, Charles? I would say, ja sam super, hvala. Vi, you can say vi, as in you, formally. Or if your friend says it, hey, kako si, Charles? I'd say, dobro sam, tu, or ti. You go ti for regular, and vi for respectful. Next one we've got is thank you. Thank you in Serbian is hvala. So if my friend does something for me, I'd say hvala, brate. But if somebody respectful does it, I would say hvala vam. And that's important. You know, if you go to a restaurant, you know, and you want to make a good impression, you know, or someone older, you're at a family's home and they give you something to the parents, hvala vam, and it sounds so much better. A lot of times when you say that in like to a waiter or waitress, they'll reply by hvala vama, which I think means and the same to you. So they're showing respect back to you. So vam, hvala vam. Next one and last one that I wrote down, there's more, but these are the only ones I know and I don't want to make an hour-long video, is please. In Serbia, when you go somewhere, if you want something, you could say molim. Molim is please. But if you go to a traffica, for instance, and there's some really old woman and she's not very friendly, you know, usually you would say, molim vas. Or if you go to a bar and you want a beer, you'd say, molim vas, daj mi pivo. So that's kind of it. So we go through them again. Gospodin is a sir. Gospođo is a ma'am. You've got izvini, regular. Izvinite, formal. You've got kako si, which is how are you, in regular. Kako ste would be formal. Then you can change T is you, regular person. V is respectful person. Then you've got kako is vini. Then you have thank you. And thank you was hvala. And then you have respectful, hvala vam. And then you have molim, which is please to your friend. And molim vas to someone else. So you've got these endings, te, ste, vam, and vas. And V, you know, so those are the respectful, formal ways to talk to people. Anyway, that's it. That's something I learned, and actually I knew it, but I'm learning a little bit more. So hopefully as I go, in 2 or 3 years, I'll be able to say more than those regular freaking greetings in the Serbian language. It's hard, man. Believe me. Do viđenja.